lecture series, we're now going to talk about how we build this SIR model. And so what we want to talk about really is the host population. So as always, the population size of all individuals is n. And in this example population, I've got n equals 14. And remember, it's the SIR model. So we divide that host population into susceptible individuals, infected individuals, and recovered individuals. And now we've got to Okay, so one of those bins is going to be babies, new individuals that come into the population. And the other bin is going to be deaths. So the loss of individuals from the population through death. And so now we're able to start thinking about how we parameterize this model. And we can start with our susceptible individuals. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these three values so we have more room to write in the rates. Okay, so the first one is pretty easy. If you want to get to a susceptible population, one big way is through the birth rate little b. Another way to get into the susceptible population is through this rate gamma, which is the rate at which recovered individuals can become reinfected. So I told you that there's not always lifetime immunity to disease, and if it's the case that there's no lifetime immunity, then the recovered individuals can move back into the susceptible population. But because that doesn't always happen, we usually make it a dotted line. And we call this gamma. Okay, so now there are two ways for individuals to transfer from the S class into one of these other bins. One way is what we call beta, and that's moving from susceptible to infected. The other way that the individuals can move out of S is through death, which we're not. Okay, so next we have our infected class. So once an individual moves from being susceptible to infected, it moves into this category, this bin. And that's really the only way to get into this bin. But there are a few ways to get out. One way to get out of this bin is to just go to the recovered population, and that is that's denoted by this symbol, this little V looking symbol. Okay, so then the other way to get out of the infected class is through death. Okay, so now we have the last bin, which is our recovered population, part of the population, R. Now, similar to the infected class, there's only one way to get into this bin, and that is to recover from infection, that little V symbol. And there's two ways out. One we've already talked about, which is this gamma, back into susceptible population. And the other one we've seen from our other groups, and that is through death. And while I'm at it, we might as well go ahead and move our individuals from here. Okay. So in terms of notation, some people don't use these subscripts. Instead, this is what Gatelli does. And this is what we call alpha. And again, my apologies for being terrible at writing Greek letters. Okay, so this is what the model looks like kind of graphically. And when you go into Populous, you can play around with this. But for right now, we want to spend some time looking at the math. And what I'll do is put that in the next video. So thanks for your attention, and I'll see you in a little bit for our next video.